Today I'm going to show you how to make lasagna that is appropriate for a loose version of the carnivore diet or definitely a meat-heavy keto diet. Lasagna is something that's really fun to make. It really fulfills our cravings for cooking something in the kitchen and spending a little bit more time making an elaborate meal. And the really great thing about this lasagna is that it is fantastic leftover. It's something you can make ahead and freeze. And everybody that visits you, as long as they aren't dairy sensitive, because you'll see that it's a high dairy recipe, really loves this lasagna. Now tell me in the comments, were you a lasagna maker pre-carnivore diet? If so, what kind of lasagna did you like to make? Did you make it from scratch using your grandmother's recipe? Did you make it fresh from the frozen food section of your local grocery store? I want to hear if you loved making lasagna pre-carnivore or not. There are so many good things about lasagna. People love it, it stores well, leftovers are delicious. You can double or triple the recipe and use a larger pan. Most of the time when I'm making this for my family, I double the cheese noodle, which I'm going to show you in a second, portion of the recipe, and I triple the meat portion of the recipe. And so then I just use 2 big 9x13 cheese noodles, as you'll see we do for our loaf pan here. And then I use 3 times as much of the meat sauce, so it's a little bit meatier, because of course we love meat in our family. If you have autoimmune issues and are avoiding nightshades, pesto is where it's at for sauce. Pesto lasagna is delicious. See a link in the description for a delicious homemade pesto recipe. Another carnivore-friendly nightshade-free option is creamy Alfredo sauce. You can either check the ingredients at the store and find a suitable store-bought option, or make it yourself. In any case, when you desire some creativity in the kitchen, be sure to try this keto-friendly or loose carnivore lasagna recipe. For the noodles, you need 2 large eggs, 4 ounces of cream cheese softened, a 1/4 cup Parmesan cheese grated, 1 1/4 cup mozzarella cheese shredded, and 2 cloves of garlic crushed. For the other layers, you're going to need 1 pound of ground beef, 1/2 cup of red sauce or pesto or Alfredo sauce, a cup of cottage cheese or ricotta cheese, as we're using in this recipe, mixed with 1 clove of garlic, crushed, and 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. To top the lasagna, you need an additional 1/2 cup shredded mozzarella. To make the lasagna noodles, preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Line a baking sheet or 9x13 pan with parchment paper. Mix softened cream cheese, shredded mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, eggs, and garlic in a mixing bowl until the egg is thoroughly mixed in. Spread this mixture onto the parchment paper evenly, making a large rectangle. Bake for 20 minutes or until the edges start to turn golden. Remove from the oven and allow to cool to room temperature. Don't try to rush this step. A lot of times I will bake the cheese noodles on one day and then I'll assemble the lasagna the morning of the next day. As the noodles bake and cool, you can brown the ground beef. After browning, add in the red sauce or pesto. Mix the cottage cheese, garlic, and Italian seasoning together. Spray a loaf pan with cooking spray or grease with butter. Cut your cheese noodle across into 3 loaf pan sized noodles. Place a noodle rectangle into the bottom of the loaf pan, then top with 1/3 of the meat mixture and 1/3 of the cottage cheese mixture. Repeat the noodle meat cheese pattern, ending in cottage cheese. Top the last layer of cottage cheese with 1/2 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. Bake on the cookie sheet, as this tends to spill over, for 35 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. If you need to make this ahead of time, you can keep it covered in the fridge or freezer and bake from thawed for 45 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This recipe is from my carnivore meal plan. You can find this paperback on Amazon. It has lots of different recipes that work for the carnivore diet, whether you're just doing meat and salt or if you're doing a more liberal version like this lasagna recipe of carnivore lasagna. Next up, check out this video where I show you how you can cut way back on the amount of grease splatters in your kitchen by moving even the basics, eggs and bacon, out to the grill. You're gonna love relaxing on the patio as you make your breakfast in the morning, starting your day off with fresh air and keeping your kitchen clean. Click on that video right up there and I'll show you how.